Hi everybody, welcome to Burundara Library Storytime at home. So, just to get ourselves ready, we would like to acknowledge the traditional owners of the land on which we learn and play, because feet on the floor, down is the earth, up is the sky. There are my friends, and here am I. I think we'll get started with a bit of a song. And I'm going to sing a favourite Justine Clarke song called Off to the Library. Off to the library, 1, 2, 3. Off to the library, you and me. And when we get there, what do we see? Books, 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 books. Everywhere you look. And yes, this is today's book. It's Peggy by Anna Walker. And she did the pictures too, and it's published by Scholastic. I really love this book because not only is it a lovely story, it's set in Melbourne, and you might recognise and have been to some of the places we see Peggy in. So you might say, who's Peggy? Well, let's find out. So Peggy by Anna Walker. Can you see that? I think Peggy might be a chook. In fact, she is, because Peggy lived in a small house in a quiet street. Look, are there any cars and trucks in that street? No, it's very quiet. But there's Peggy in her little house behind the big main house. Every day, rain or shine, Peggy ate breakfast, played in her yard and watched the pigeons. See? Breakfast on the trampoline, pigeons. Breakfast playing with the sunflowers and watching the pigeons. Trampoline again. Oh, balancing on one leg. She's a very clever chook. It's her breakfast bowl. See, she's put it on her head. What a silly chook. One blustery day, a big gust of wind swept through the clouds, scooping up the leaves and twigs and... Peggy! Oh my God! I didn't know chooks could fly. And look, there's the Eureka Tower. And there is, and I can't remember the name of that tower. So you might have to ask your grown-up what that tower is. But that's in the city of Melbourne. Peggy landed with a soft thud. She was far from home. She picked herself up, ruffled her feathers, and went for a walk. Look, all the people are walking with their umbrellas through the streets of Melbourne. I wonder what street it is. Look, it's Collins Street. Have you been to Collins Street? Maybe you've been on the 109 tram that goes down Collins Street. And Peggy saw things she had never seen before. Because there's, oh, that looks like a cake shop and a dress shop. And look, there she is on all the TVs. I think Peggy's having fun. Peggy watched and hopped and jumped and twirled and tasted. Look, she's looking at shoes, she's eating spaghetti. She's even buying some undies. That's a good thing to do when you're in the city, stock up on your undies. She even found a cosy place to rest that reminded her of home. See, she's in the window of a shop. Although it wasn't quite the same. Peggy missed her home. She tried asking for directions. But people found it hard to understand her. In the rushing crowd, Peggy saw a sunflower like the ones from her yard. Oh, that's a good clue. She followed the sunflower. Look, they're at Melbourne Central Station. And the sunflower sat down, so Peggy sat down too. Look, she's on the man's hat. And he doesn't seem to notice, which I think's a bit funny. Outside began moving. They were speeding away from the tall buildings. When Peggy looked around, the sunflower was leaving the train. Oh, must be time to get off. Peggy hopped hopped out of the train, but the sunflower was gone, and they're at Hartwell Station, so she must be on the Cranbourne-Pakenham line, I think. She watched the sky grow darker as the clouds rolled by. The wind was cold. A flock of birds flew quietly overhead. It was the pigeons! The pigeons knew the way back to the yard. Oh, it felt good to be home. Look, she's telling the pigeons all the stories of all the things she did. Every day, rain or shine, Peggy ate her breakfast, played in her yard, boing, boing. Oh, she's playing with the pigeons. And she chatted to the pigeons. She's not watching them anymore. They're now her friends. And sometimes she caught the train to the city. That's a very funny story, isn't it? Can you think of another place that you might find a chook other than your own backyard? I think you might find them on a farm. Do you know, I went to visit a farm one day, and there's a song about that. I went to visit a farm one day, I saw a chook along the way, and what do you think I heard it say? Cluck, 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 cluck. You don't look like a regular sort of chicken, but I am a chicken. What do you mean? Well, you look a bit different. Well, what do you think chooks look like? Well, aren't they normally, I don't know, white or black, and they have you've got a red crest, but they're certainly not orange and red. Yes, they are. There's all sorts of chickens, all sorts of breeds, and not everybody looks the same. People don't all look the same, do they? No, you're absolutely right. They don't. Well, thank you very much for clearing that up for me. Well, I wonder who else we might see on the farm. I went to visit a farm one day. I saw a cow along the way, and what do you think I heard it say? Moo, 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 moo. Hang on. What's your name? My name is Stargazy. Oh, Stargazy. Why do you have wings? I didn't think cows had wings. Well, no, normally they don't, but I always wanted to fly, so I studied aerospace engineering really hard, and I built myself some really beautiful wings, because I've always believed if you want to do something and you work really hard, you can achieve amazing things. I do believe Stargazing might be right. Thank you very much for clearing that up. I wonder who else is on this farm. Looks like a very strange farm. I went to visit a farm one day. I met an alpaca along the way, and what do you think I heard him say? G'day, my name's Bruce. Oh, hello, Bruce. How are you? Yeah, all right. You? I'm very well, thank you. Gosh, Bruce, you've got a funny accent. What do you mean? Well, it doesn't sound like an alpaca. An alpaca normally has a Bolivian accent, I would have thought. Yeah, well, I'm Australian, and I'm a farmer, and this is what old farmers sound like. Really? Why is that? Well, you see, there's lots of flies, so you've got to keep your teeth shut so the flies don't go into your mouth. Well, I never knew that. That's very helpful advice. Well, nice to meet you, Bruce. Yeah, you too. Bye. Well, that was a very different farm than what I've ever seen before. So perhaps you'd like to make your own chook or cow. These have been made by my son when he was about, 8 or 9. But I've got a much simpler version of the chook that you can make at home. And you're going to need a few things. You're going to need some cardboard. An old cereal box would be fine. Some scissors, some glue, and some sticky tape. a texter, which I seem to have made waylaid, or some pencils or crayons, and something to decorate your chook with. So get your cardboard, you draw yourself a half circle and 2 circles there that you're going to cut out to make holes for the chook's legs. And you can draw a beak and eyes and wings. And then you can decorate your chook any way you like. I've decorated mine with old bits of newspaper and a ribbon. And I've given him eyebrows and eyes and a beak and a little feather for good luck. So whatever you find around the house will make a really good chook. And then perhaps you can have, I don't know, a puppet show and tell your own stories. But whatever you make, why don't you upload it to the library's Instagram with the hashtag Burundara Library Kids, because I would love to see all your different chooks. Now everybody, before we finish up, I just want to remind you to remember to read, sing, talk and play with your grown-up every day. But now it's time to say goodbye, say goodbye, say goodbye. Now it's time to say goodbye, goodbye. I'll see you soon. Bye.